Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Let's Talk Real Life with Nada Manning, a late night talk show. In fact, I'm your co host, Coach Vernon Garrison. And after a little bit of housekeeping information, we'll be turning it over to our teacher and host. But welcome once again. I hope you're having a blessed day. I hope that God is bestowing all that you are asking for, and of course, some of the things that you're probably not asking for. Just a balance there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for following us on social media, following us on GPAT 23 television local access channel. You can find us also on the triple W or www dot, I get that right, WBIS awesomeradio.org. All right. Download the app quickly. Download the app to Awesome Radio. Get it from the Apple Store, get it from Google Play Store. That way you can punch it up and catch us at any time. Tonight, it's one of those shows that I'm going to basically say parental discretion is mandatory. So you can be here. That's what that means. Not that you're going to hear some content that you shouldn't hear, but a very intense subject coming up tonight on a second part of Fluctuating Influences, set up by our host, and you will hear from in a very short few moments. All right, if you want to get involved in the show, you can go right on, log on social media. If you're listening in your car radios, 106.9, or if you watching and you want to call in, the number to call in is 252-756-2008. All right. If you disagree with something I say, or you want to add to, or you want to take away just to save my soul, I don't mind you calling. I've been reprimanded already right before the show. I said something in the wrong way. So, look, all it's going to do is make me better. Just bring it on. All right. Love you guys. Now, my favorite teacher, how are you today?
I'm doing well. I hope you are.
Sure enough.
All of you listeners out there, I say hello to you as well. It is my pleasure to be back with you again this week as we are weekly coming on, bringing you different things, and hopefully you are enjoying at least some of them. Maybe not everything, because you're not going to agree with everything, but that's okay. I'm just glad that you're able to tune in and that you're sharing, spreading the word about Let's Talk Real Life show on Wednesday nights at midnight. It is my pleasure to say, yes, we are going to continue with what we were talking about last week about fluctuated influences. That is a very, very busy subject. It involves a lot of areas of our lives of all ages. So much so, we decided that we want to come back and give you some more information and give you some more food for thought so that you can share it with your loved ones and your peers and your whoever's, your friends, your buddies, all of that. So we want to just bring to you some more defining words about fluctuate and the influences that come about, the life struggles that we have, and the toxic influences. Toxic is the key word from last week as well as this week. That word toxic, Toxic. That is a powerful word. Can it be negative and or can it be positive? Can it be both? That's something to think about. Toxic. Hmm. I think it could be whatever context one might want to use it in. It depends on the situation. How about that? That's a good thought. It makes a difference in our responses. So I am going to give the show tonight to our co-host.
See, why you say that for? Now you just put a whole lot of responsibility on. I was like, she about to do it. She about to do it. She about to say it's all gonna be him. If you don't
Yeah,
like the show, then that's my fault.
well, they're gonna scream at you. Um, but I thought it would give yet another different spin, which occasionally, as you all who are regular listeners, occasionally I will pass the baton on to the co-host so that he can have some input. Not that I don't have any more to say, because I have plenty to say, but I want to give him the opportunity to share his thoughts, to give you food for thought in many different areas. Because after all, we are two different people. He is a man and I'm a woman, so his opinion about a lot of things are going to be different from mine. And that's what makes the show so successful as it is by the grace of God. He's the one that's leading us every week, every day, as we talk during the week about what the show is going to be about, how we're going to approach it, different ideas that's thrown out there. And it's just a wonderful experience to be able to share the likes and the dislikes and still be friends, still be cordial. I ain't mad with him. It's okay. Anyway, amen. And now we'll tune in to our co-host, Mr. Garrison.
I'm shut
Have at
down,
it,
man. I
sir.
didn't forgot everything. Now let me quit wasting time. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, now we're talking about influence, and I just want to focus on the word influence from the beginning, and then in the middle, right before we start, we're going to talk about some great things about influence, and we'll also talk about a little positive thing. I want you to hear the biblical personification of influence, but then I want to bring up the word narcissist, manipulators, narcissists. Those people are highly influential, and people as such are part of our daily lives. I did just learn something about 20 minutes ago about narcissism, and it's very, very surprising to me. So stay tuned for that thought right there. But at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, by definition, I know we read one last week, just expound, just kind of layer this thing. Influence is the ability to affect the behavior of others in a particular direction, leveraging key tactics that involve and connect and inspire them. That's why we've identified influence others as one of the four leadership skills needed in every role. So when we switch over to the negative, I won't be talking about that positive influence in your life, and I won't be bashing someone who has a core responsibility that can not only use their influence but supersede or make a decision or even cancel out your opinion, whether it's truth or not. Those people have a position in our life, and those people are called leaders. Okay. So I won't be saying anything negative about that. In fact, it's so important that you listen closely tonight that I'm going to read what God says about influence in a particular chapter as he refers to who you are or who you can be to someone and the position you may have in their lives, and if you're called to ministry or if you're just who you are. Every one of us should be bringing ourselves to others, if you will. But in Matthew 5:13 through 16, it says, you are the salt of the earth. But if the salt has become tasteless, how can it be made salty again? It is no longer good for anything except to be thrown out and to be trampled upon by the foot of men. You are the light of the world in a city set on a hill that cannot be hidden. And nor does anyone light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a lampstand is where you put it, and it gives light to all who are in the house. Let your light shine before men in such a way that they may see your good works and glorify your Father who is in heaven. That type of influence is just what I just said.
Toxic.
Well, if it was toxic, is a good toxic, because that's when you play a role in front of someone that they will follow you. They'll receive your influence by their life. they will see you as dynamic. Surely you can be one way the next way, the next day and the next day, but they will see your core and there will be Christ in you. And so when you come to them to persuade them to do something, they already see your life. If you say something a little awkward or something a little negative or something a little offensive, they already know after a few moments now they're gonna clap back at you, right? You're gonna get that what you say that for, and you're gonna get that out. But and after a few moments, they're gonna know that this is the light that I look up to, or this is someone who shares my beliefs and shares my thoughts. And even though we disagree at times, we're human and we will be able to make the adjustment. So I'm gonna ask my host for her, and I always do this. I always try to catch her off guard, like she done got me tonight. What is narcissist to you? We transitioning now to the toxic, back to the toxic subject. But what is the narcissist person to you?
It does not have a positive connotation to it. When I first hear the word, I'm thinking about danger. I'm thinking about the individual putting him or herself in danger or someone else. Their behavior is exemplified in such a manner that it puts fear in whoever is being offended. When I think of narcissist, someone's behavior that changes like the wind, and when it does change, it's dangerous. It's very hurtful, probably to him or herself just as much, maybe not at all to himself or herself, but to whoever they're trying to hurt. That's what I think about when I think about narcissist. A definition from the dictionary I don't have in front of me, but I'm thinking off the top of my head.
That's why I caught you all guard, because I wanted to hear your natural response. Most of us don't walk around with a dictionary or a thesaurus, but when we meet someone that fits what I'm about to share with you, now I'm gonna share with you guys what my surprise was about this category of a influencer. Narcissistic personality disorder is a mental health condition in which people have an unreasonably high sense of their own importance. They need to seek too much attention and want people to admire them. And people with this disorder may lack the ability to understand or care about the feelings of others.
Which is hurtful.
My surprise is, now I worked in mental health for quite some time, for probably 3 years. I did not know it was a personality disorder. I worked in maximum security. I've met a lot of different people that were not only classified as criminals, but were convicted as criminals. So I've seen a lot of symbolically selfish behavior, highly toxic behavior. But I will tell you, one of the narcissists that I met was not in prison, was not in jail, was not in a homeless shelter, and I worked there for 3 years.
Right.
Was in general population,
yes,
normal society.
Yeah.
But my surprise to myself was tonight I just did not know it was a mental health, a condition, a personality disorder. Now, if we were in class, I said, raise your hand, ladies and gentlemen, if you have ran into this toxic person that Miss Nada has described. And also raise your other hand, if you have ran into them in a position of authority, a boss, a teacher, a quarterback on a football team or a basketball team. Those are seriously major influences, but to a fault, I wasn't even going to say it this way. the way Ms. Nader said it. She said it's dangerous. I believe she said the word dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
And with working with someone like that, it can be very, very scary because you don't know what they're going to say.
That's right.
They
Or
don't or do. They will claim to say, "Hey, this is a good idea. Let's try it this way." Oh no, they're not asking you to sample anything. They're not asking you to try anything. They're just telling you, if you resist, as you say, resistance is futile. The main thing I wanted to do with that topic, Ms. Nader, is to one give out the 9 symptoms of a narcissist person and move on. Usually they carry themselves like a basket of eggs, a carton of eggs. They usually have some or most of these. And I'm not talking about your boss. I'm not talking about somebody who gets in their ego sometime. I'm not talking about somebody that has a balance of these, moments. One moment they're talking about themselves, but then that's your humility. On the other part, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about an extremely self-centered person, and I'm going to give you that. I can honestly say, I can tell you what I'm gonna say in the end is just pray when you're working with somebody like this or you're living with somebody like that, because they not only influence you to do stuff. Yes, ma'am.
you were just saying to be mindful, be careful, be aware of living with someone like that. Sometimes you don't know that they're like that until you're with them. You've invested some time and energy with that person, 3, 4 months, maybe 6 months down the road. You've developed a good rapport with that person. Then you find out, well, now, wait a minute.
Mm,
All these surprises, all of this behavior coming out of nowhere. And it's scary. That's why I say it's dangerous. But you're saying beware, which is true. But my point is, sometimes you don't know that they're like that until later on. And that's some serious stuff. Okay, that's all I want to say.
and to that what you just said was so very important to somebody who is sitting there. They don't know what to do right now. They have just hit that point of reality that that's who they are living with. And I
Or
must
dealing
say,
with.
or dealing with. I must say right now, I could pause this show right now and cry a bucket of tears because that is a very, very hard place to be in. Like you've been trapped, you've been bamboozled. They came in so smooth, silver tongue. I mean, just crafty. Like God said, Satan was any more crafty than any other beast of the field. And then he sat right there and asked Eve about that tree of knowledge of good and evil. And he said, "No, you won't die." They already had the word preached to them. They already had the instructions. Adam had already given it to his wife. We're not eating from that tree. Then here come that crafty demon. Ask
Slick.
her, "Are
Joe
you
Slick.
sure?" Creating doubt. Are you sure? Gaslighting. That's another term I want to bring up tonight. Gaslighting. So thank you for bringing that point up. I know I'm listening to you. You just got found yourself in that situation with that person, and you're catering to them, and you're trying to make pretend that it's not true.
Don't
But
want to
I'm sorry,
don't want to believe it.
you don't want to believe it.
Hmm.
But that's why I'm here tonight, and I'm not laughing at you. I'm not laughing at you at all. I'd rather cry with you. All right. So here's the snip. I can't even talk now. I almost made up a word. Snip. What are the symptoms of a narcissistic personality disorder? A sense of self-importance, preoccupation with power, beauty, or success, entitled, I can say that 1,000 times. They feel so like it's supposed to be for them. Can only be around people who are important or special. Bojay. And I'm not talking about people who want good things and nice stuff. Stop it. We're talking about a combination of all of these right here together. If you want to pick these things apart, all of us share at least one or two of these, okay? So don't be haughty about it. All of us share these individually at times. It's that when you put them all together as a deck of cards is when you got a game going on. Uh-oh. All right. And the person that feels entitled and can only be around people who are important or special. All right. They have interpersonally exploitative for their own gain, arrogant, lack of empathy, and this one right here must be admired. Whew. Must be admired.
Does that mean they have to be seen and heard?
Yes. It is not an option. In fact, they will sit right there and say, I ain't trying to, no, y'all know I'm not like that. I'm not trying to get in front of nobody. I'm not trying to be the most important. I'm not trying to steal somebody else's thunder. Like if somebody's getting some hand claps, somebody gets some kudos. Well, I'm not trying to take thing away from them, but I paid for half of that.
How about a situation when you're in a meeting? This is your job.
Mhm.
You're in a meeting and you have this individual that is so sure of herself. And I'm not calling any names, but if she's listening to the show, I used to work with her.
Wait a minute, are you getting revenge back on somebody?
But no matter what I said, there was always a rebuttal. And it created such a dysfunction in the work environment because she wanted to be seen and heard and wanted to be right. Would you call that being a narcissist? Because it appears she gave the impression that it was all about her and nobody knew any more than she did, but yet she's the newest kid on the block.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's what I'm saying. The way you can determine that is there's another little trick that I've seen with the few narcissist people that I've met. Because anybody can stand up and say, I got the truth. I am the light and I am the way. And you can look at them and say, nah, they don't even know the way to the bathroom. Well, this person that you're talking about, how you can eliminate whether they're just having a moment and want everybody to listen to them, or they truly really want to manipulate and influence the room to go their way, is if they take the truth and they bend it.
That's
to
basically,
shape it. I'm sorry?
That's basically what it was. That she wanted the whole department, the whole section, including, of course, the commander. Wanted everybody to know that she know what she was talking about because she was the center of attraction. Always. So my question is that narcissist behavior?
It is narcissist behavior. And in order for it to be a diagnosis, okay, now I'm just as a consumer looking in. I'm not a clinician. I'm not a psychiatrist, a psychologist. But in order for it to be a clinical issue, which narcissism is a personality disorder, part of that is going to be uncontrollable to the point that they can't help themselves. They'll lie. They'll tell the little white lies that most of us use to save our life, to because you can't tell everybody the truth. You told everybody the truth, we'd be walking around here shooting each other. Okay, so you have to avoid to tell the truth. You have to covertly or overtly just shut up sometime, and that's how you lie because you just don't tell the truth. You just shut up and you let nature take its course, and that's how we protect ourselves sometimes. Well, a narcissist will take them little areas to try and influence you to look towards them. Oh yeah, it's not that bad. The car could be tow slam all up. You know, everybody in the car dead. Well, it won't that bad. They didn't die all at one time. They'll. I'm very hypothetical there. I probably shouldn't even use a car accident for an example. I apologize, but they'll take the truth and bend it and twist it and turn it. They're so impulsive about it, it won't make sense.
Right.
Because everything to shine the light back to them so they can finish their toxic persuasion and their fluctuating temperature to get everybody to pay attention to them. So one, they got the stuff to go with it, but the icing on the cake is if they keep talking and they get irrational about it to the point you feel a little sad for them because you don't even want to tell them the real truth.
I didn't feel sad.
I know you went on that.
Sometimes some folks need to hear the truth. I'm being a devil's advocate tonight, y'all. We're talking real life. I am your host, Nada Manning. We're talking real life here about fluctuated influences of all kinds. I do hope that you are listening to us and can relate to us and share some of your thoughts with us. We would love to hear from you. 252-756-2008. Please listen as we continue.
The narcissist person wants you to know there's a special combination. Now, if you hang around with me any length of time, an hour or 2 days, you will see me walk on off and do things like a toddler would do. You'll see me follow a shiny object on off and give us you'll be like, what in the world is he doing? And I will tell you, I'm not making excuses for myself. There is something unique about me. If you don't believe me, just watch me. Okay? When I think I'm doing one thing, sometimes I'm doing another. I can admit that. A narcissist will not. And sometimes they will not apologize. Okay? Sometimes they will never apologize. Some people believe that's a motivational thing. Never be sorry for what you're doing because you intended to do it and you're going to learn from it. Never apologize because the sooner you learn that what other people think about you doesn't matter, the better off you'll be and the farther you will get in life. This narcissist person is actually fearful of regular, normal people who are confident in themselves and have a self-confidence inspired by God that you are the salt of the earth. But when you find the narcissist person saying the only people that can understand me is other special people, they're trying to put themselves in a category of an influencer among other influencers. And to get these special influences, you have to be one of those special influencers.
Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting. That's toxic to me.
Now, I don't even have to look at any notes or look up anything else. I just want to say, how do we deal with narcissist people? Now, I got to tout my credentials here a little bit. I got to say, this is why I'm doing this off the top of my head, because I studied hard to become a nationally certified conflict resolution person. And everything you learn about conflict resolution is probably unnatural to us humans. And therefore, we go to court systems, which is an arena of conflict resolution. You go to court, you have a judge, you have a defendant, a plaintiff, prosecutor, and those people have to manage our discussion. That's how difficult conflict can be.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so to do that without a judge, there is another arena, and that's called collaboration between you and me, between us and them, and working the problems out where we don't need other officials to moderate, mediate, facilitate, participate. But I want to chat a little bit about how to live with this narcissist person when they are trying to convince you of something, they're trying to persuade you, and you already know they're unstable because one minute they're going to try to get you to do one thing. When they see that doesn't work and it makes them look bad, they're going to say, well, no, you need to do it that way. I told you to do it that way to start with. And you can be like, what? You got to pick
Mm-hmm.
up on the irrationality. We just got them talking about this. So what do you do when that person has authority over you? They have power over you. They're raising their voice at you, or they're not raising their voice. They're introvert, and you know they're up to something sneaky, and it's coming. They're gonna take the money out of the bank account. They're gonna go quit their job. They're gonna rebel in an outward way or a covert way, which is undercover, without you knowing it, or they're going to attack you in an overt way, which is out in the open. What do you do? So I'm going to ask my fearless leader when she discovered after she got bamboozled and met a narcissist, what was your first reaction and how did you handle it?
Well, my first reaction was surprising because, like I said, the individual was brand new to the department, did not know anything about the job. She was there to learn. I was in the position to train her. Well, my knowledge of being doing what I was doing for the previous 7 or 8 years, almost 10 in different categories, did not mean a hill of beans.
Mm,
And when I found out was when we went TDY, which is travel for the military. We went to another base and we met another commander and we shared some information about a particular program. That's when I got my first encounter for real that this girl right here is not good news. Because of who I was with in front of the commander, we have to behave a certain way, of course. I held my peace, all to make me look bad. That's what the whole point was.
mm,
That I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what I was talking about. So when we got back to the hotel, driving back to the hotel, I questioned it. I said, what was that all about in the meeting? I said, now, I did not want to confront you in front of them because that would have been unprofessional. And the way I would have come out of my mouth would not have been very, I'm going to still say professional. So what I did was talk to her aside, just one on one, and I asked her, what seemed to be the problem? Her response was, what do you mean? What do I mean? Anyway, she was in denial. I didn't do that. I didn't say that. Blah, blah, blah. I said, well, guess what? If it happens again, we're going to be off the job and I'm going to meet you on the side. How about that? And see if
mm,
I can't make it clearer to you. How
mm.
about that?
Oh boy.
Yeah, yeah. We were riding along and I was driving. So all immediately we got closer and closer to the passenger door. We were sitting straight at first. So apparently, obviously, fear set in because I meant what I said. You're not going to discredit me in front of a commander or general or anybody. You got to be kidding me. So anyway, one thing led to another. I went back and I shared it with the commander of how things went, like we supposed to do, report things. And I did share with them her behavior, and it was not appropriate. So, needless to say, I don't think we might have went on another TDY again, but it was later on. Did not have that same interaction, did not have that same conflict because I meant what I said. And every time after that, I went without her because it was like water and oil. She was of a mindset like you're describing, a narcissist, where it was going to always be about her and she knows best and it's going to be her way. Now, one would ask, is that individual really thinking that her thoughts and her ideas are going to override someone with 7 or 8 or 10 years experience? You just came on board, you don't know anything. So where is that mindset in any individual, not just with her and I, but with any individual that's going to put themselves in a position and override the trainer? You supposed to be the trainee. So you're going to come in and tell the trainer how to do it. Where is that mindset when an individual feel like they are just so important? Are they just that eager to climb the corporate ladder? Or are they just that selfish in that their way is going to be the only way no matter what? It makes you wonder, is it a combination of both? And you said earlier, sometimes you would feel sorry for them. At the end of the day, I guess, couple of years down, because the behavior continued, it just wasn't with me. I didn't feel sorry for them in a sense of well, I'll put it this way. I felt like I was in a position to, after a while, when everything calmed down, to just sit and talk with her. Well, I never got that opportunity because I was transitioned out. But my objective was to actually sit her down and let her realize just how crazy that everything happened. It just didn't make sense. But anyway, everything got done accordingly.
Well,
It ended up being my way because I was the experienced one.
I admire your point to hit that quickly, to adjust the positions, to adjust the physical parameters of y'all's relationship. It was business, and if you were the supervisor, you adjusted that. In the workplace, I will say this before I transition from narcissist to, I got a nice way to do it. I want to talk about gaslighting. But in that situation at work, that is probably the safest place for a narcissist is to be the owner of a business, because then they can act the way they want and they can deal with the turnover rate the way they want. People come, people go, people come, people go, and everybody don't fit their script got to go. So that is a safe place there for them. They can hide in their authority and their position that my daddy owns the company. Hey, nothing you can do to me, regardless of whether you find me out or not. Uh, those are the breaks. So I would say handle that softly and carefully at work. If you do have a position that you can remind them, a subordinate, that you are in charge, yeah, you'll have to invoke that position and deal with the politics that come behind it. But I'm almost certain that narcissists at some point realize when they're overpowered.
Yeah.
And when they're overpowered, they look for your weaknesses, and they can do a thing called gaslighting, which is, I'm gonna read the definition of gaslighting. What is an example of gaslighting? A gaslighter may use verbal abuse to wear their victim down in an attempt to keep them stuck in a relationship. They may use constant insults or comments like, you know, you never get anyone better than me, or you're terrible with money. or you don't know what you're doing in your job, or see, look at that. See how you fixed that car? It broke already. And these are things or various things to diminish,
Yeah.
and you have to listen for those things. And the influencer, they are diminishing what you're doing, and you will get no credit for what you've done. Now, I'm not talking about in an argument where it's for fair fight. Somebody's
Right.
talking about you when you're talking about them, and you're both hurling insults at each other, and
Right.
they say, I don't care about you. You know
Right.
they love you, but they mad at you. I don't care about you. Well, I don't care about you either. No, I'm not calling that person a gaslighter for saying or discrediting something you did. Well, I wash dishes every night. Well, you know you don't wash dishes every night. But then again, some people might. But I'm not talking about that person. I'm talking about the person that overall uses gaslighting as a strategic way to dismantle your feelings,
Right.
dismantle your confidence, calling out. You could be wrong, as they say, it's two left shoes every single day. It is not appropriate to call out a person every single day and
Right.
attacking their shoe problem. You will have to find out a root cause of an issue and then work with a person on that. So I see you're not feeling good today either. Yesterday you was in a bad mood. So let's sit down. Come on in the office. Let's see what's going on. I'm
Right.
not gonna sit here and keep writing pink slips and
Right.
pink slips every day you come in. You know what I'm talking about. You got pain somewhere, you got issues somewhere, and so but the gaslighter will use verbal abuse and always talking down to you in an attempt to keep you stuck. Okay, using psychological methods into questioning and asking you and questioning your own sanity and questioning your powers of reasoning all the time. What you do that for? What's wrong with you?
Would you say that gaslighting and narcissism go hand in hand?
Well, I would say gaslighting. There are people that are not narcissists that use gaslighting.
Okay.
I'd say in politics, that's a professional way to use gaslighting. Well, the Democrats are always doing this, and I just heard on the radio a while ago they don't believe in free speech. It's
So you
free
don't.
speech that they said that they don't believe in free speech. That's
So
free. Go ahead.
so the narcissism
Yes, ma'am.
at any point, I'm saying with a person,
Yes.
do you believe that they can have both behaviors?
Yes,
Not
no doubt. Yes, ma'am.
that's what I was asking.
I got you. Yes.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, it might be their favorite tool to dismantle you because they know your weakness, and every time they get a chance to isolate you on that weakness, look at you. You're doing it again. And by the way, I'm taking over now. I think I can do it better than you. Well, just because you can do it better than me, that doesn't mean that it's your job to do it.
Right.
We
Right.
have to have, we all have positions in life. You can't just keep taking responsibilities away from somebody because they are not masters of it. And by the way, what you gonna do with your responsibility? You can keep piling everybody else stuff on you just
Right.
because they can't do it. That's
Right.
narcissism. You want the light to be on you. You don't want me to get strong.
Right.
You don't want me to be confident in what I can do and even confident in correcting my own mistakes. You don't want that. You want to be the one to isolate me and embarrass me, and you be the one, the drill sergeant that everybody's watching, saying, look at them, boy, they sure are smart. They discern the demons in that person.
Yeah. Wow. Well, all right. Does that mean you're done?
I just dropped the mic. I said all the positive stuff in the beginning. I said, all you are the light of the world, the salt of the earth. Your responsibility is just that. Be when you're around me, be that for me. And I guarantee I'll be that for you.
All
But
right.
but some people can't do it. And I have a problem with being empathetic sometimes, but that's where God put me at. But some people cannot do it, and if you're a victim of a narcissist person and they're clinical on that level, then it's no different from drugs, alcohol abuse, or domestic violence. They are abusing you, and over years of time, you're gonna lose your mind
If you allow it.
if you allow it.
Yeah.
You're gonna lose your mind.
And I can see that could have happened in the position that I was in, but I was not going to have that. So I'm saying that to say, people, those of you who are listening, we're talking real life issues here. And I believe with all my heart that many of you out there can relate to some of these things that we are talking about. Either you're in it some kind of way, or you are the individual yourself that we are
Oh,
describing.
uh-oh. Look at you.
And it behooves you, male or female, if any of this fits you, I pray that you will check yourself. Check yourself, fix it, stop it, because it's not going to end well for you. You might be sailing right along now. Everything is all smooth. You just cruising along. Everything is, as they say, hunky dory. But sooner or later, it's not going to be so smooth. Those waters are going to get rough. And then you're going to wonder what happened. So now that you are being made aware of some things and some behaviors, that because what? We all know that we suffer. What is it? The consequences? What's that saying? Um, Whatever it is that you're doing, you will suffer the consequences of it. That's not exactly how it goes, but that's what it means.
Talking about what goes around comes around.
Well, that too, but the word is involving consequences. But I'm not going to take up a whole lot of these next 3 minutes trying to do that. But we have touched some areas that are very, very live and real. And we just hope and pray that you all have taken heed to what was being said and all of the examples, because it is real life. And that's what we're trying to do to get you all to realize whatever your behavior is, and you know, and God knows, even if don't nobody else know, you know. Well, I like to think you know how you behaving. If not, I pray that the Lord will reveal it to you through someone else to you, or open your mind and your spirit and realize what you're doing. Fix it. Make everything okay so that you can have a better life. Because hurting other people is not the answer. Trying to get to where you're going to get, going up that ladder, wherever you're trying to climb the mountain, whatever you're trying to do to get up there, and you're going about it the wrong way, sooner or later you're going to slip and fall. Now, how far you fall, we don't know. Even you don't know. Only the Lord knows how far you're going to fall, or how much hurting you will have, how bad you will hurt when you do fall. But you don't get very far very long by hurting other people and stepping on everybody else, because you trying to be the one, you trying to be special, because all of the light is on you. That's not humbling yourself anyway. Humility is critical. Amen. And so, with all of that information that we heard tonight, it gives me great pleasure. And now, Mr. Co-host, do you think we ought to continue with some more next week?
I tell you, don't play with me, because this is life right here. I say yes. I'd say yes. I
Okay.
mean,
All right. Well, having said that, we've made a decision. So now, Lord, we want to pray. We want to thank you for this time as we come to close once again for this time that you've allowed us to have to talk about various things on this show. Lord, you are so precious to us, and we just want to give you the praise for allowing things to be said and to be thought and shared. In Jesus' name, be with us all throughout the rest of this week, on into next week, Lord, as we continue to live for you and to please you and to share the word that we get from you to others, because that's what is required of us. In Jesus' name, amen. You all have a blessed rest of the week. Be careful out there and know that God loves you, and so do we. Amen.
WBIS LP 106.9 FM.
This is Joy Brown, and I listen to Awesome Radio online at WBISawesome.org.
For World, this is The Sift.
We're still live. Amen.
Hello?
Hello, we're still live.
Oh, I thought